Subscribers only, because I don't care. Right. My hair is a mess. Good God. Dandruff everywhere. Flyaways flying away. I'm gonna get an ice cream. I'll be right back. Ugh. Alright, I'm back. I got me an ice cream. I got myself a Nutella ice cream. Not a sponsor, not a sponsor, but these things are fire. Expensive as hell in the town that I live in, but man, they're good. At least not one now. If you're a fan of Nutella and you like Ferrero shake candies, you should try these. These things are fire, like really good. Oh yeah, let you see the whole thing. Look at that. I'm gonna do something you're not supposed to do. I'm eating the whole top in one go because it's freaking good. It's so good. It's like a frozen disc of Nutella. I think there's some hazelnut in there too. And then it's like a Nutella-esque flavored ice cream. It's pretty good. I laughed when my dentist asked me if I had sensitivity to cold with my teeth. I was like, no, not really. I bite into ice cream, so I'm pretty sure I don't have sensitive teeth. Best part. Best part. My only issue is they're so small. I mean, I'm not really supposed to eat ice cream anyway, but I can go for probably a double that size ice cream cone. The Nutella would be nice. So, well, that last stream didn't go as planned. I had plans on doing something cool, playing Risk, but having my face just like whenever I go live with the slots behind me. But no, my computer had other ideas, and it decided to do whatever it was gonna do. And yeah, it kind of sucked. And then we wanted to try a new game. But the new game needs multiple players, and I mean, I don't have multiple players. I've only got one person. I'm only one person. So I paid for that game for nothing. That kind of sucked. Now we're going to just do some blessings. Try to forget about it, because that sucked. Earlier, I went to do blessings, and Kush jumped in my lap, and I ended up, like, dripping hot blessings all over my thumb, so I burnt the crap out of my thumb earlier. I had to angle my head up so he didn't get burned, and whenever I angled my head up, the dabs were running out the bottom of the dab rig, and they dripped all over my finger. It sucked. Take that off, probably. I don't need all that light. So we only got one person here because I'm the other person. It's very windy today too, by the way. We had a bunch of rain last night, a bunch of hail, a huge lightning storm. Oh my god, that lasted forever. My camera didn't really do it justice last night. I was trying to get a video of it. We had some epic lightning and no thunder to it. Just lightning after lightning after lightning after lightning. It was like constant lightning strikes, lighting up the sky. It was pretty cool. I went and walked Blue, and she was too scared to even use the bathroom with so much lightning outside. I was like, I went back outside and made a video. I'm crazy. I don't care. Do 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 do. Wonder where everybody's at. Probably working. I forget that it's like still only 3 o'clock. Do 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 do. You know, sometimes I wish I could figure things out like everybody else. How to do videos properly, how to, you know, enjoy life the right way, but I always end up with projects that can't go anywhere because I end up hitting brick walls or I can't figure out things. I'm not tech savvy enough. Like I see other people all the time on YouTube playing video games behind them, and they're sitting at the bottom of the screen reacting to the video game, and I can't apparently get that figured out. I don't know. I don't know. I can do it when it comes to the online social casinos. whole bus is shaking right now. There's so much wind. Alright, I'm gonna do another blessings. This is getting boring just sitting here talking to myself. Oh, I was looking into a multiple cam streaming, like 3 different cameras for live streaming that you can have 3 different angles. And I was thinking about doing it for like the Gopley, you know, so we could have a camera facing me, camera facing the board, and a camera facing the tickets or whatever. I don't know. But when I looked into this camera system, it's over $1,000 for 3 cameras. And I definitely can't afford that yet. It's gonna be quite a while before I can afford a setup like that. $1,000 plus for 3 cameras. How do people do it and sound like it's affordable? Well, I don't know. We might not stay live for long if nobody says anything. I don't know if I want to sit here and talk to myself for an hour. Might go live again at 4. Do, 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 do. Do, 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 do. What's the point? Yeah, do the blessings. I don't know. Oof. "15 minutes we've been live, not a single person in the chat." guess this wasn't meant to be a live stream. Maybe YouTube shadow banned me. I don't know. They don't like me no more. Well, 20 minutes going on. We've been live. Not a single person in the chat. Oh, really, Blue? Really? It's the wind, Blue. It's just wind. Or whatever. Whatever. That's the wind. I think you talk a lot of smack. The only one here. Giving myself some likes. Nobody's coming, even though I'm alive. guess this really wasn't meant to be a live stream. I'll give it a couple more minutes to see if anybody shows up. There's no point in me sitting here just to sit here. Welcome in, Moo. The first person in 23 minutes to see anything. I'm not pissed. I'm just... I tell people all the time. I have what's known as resting bitch face. This is how I look normally. But no, you were literally the first one to say anything at 23 minutes. I almost typed something in the chat just so that there would be something in the chat. Yeah, I suffer from RBF, and it's a condition that I can't overcome. I'm not naturally a happy person, I guess. I don't know. I don't know. Let me get some water. It's rough, yeah, I know. I know I look rough, too. Oh, that also kind of something I can't control, you know. When you look fuzzy and you're big, you kind of look like you should be on a bike. Yeah. But I don't really associate with bikers. Even though I look like one, I don't really associate with them. Ain't that something, you know? Me and a biker almost got a fight the other day at work, actually. He comes up to the counter and he puts a freaking can of soda up on the counter. I go to grab the can of soda so I can scan it. He pulls it back. He goes, you can use the scanner. You don't have to touch it. I said, oh, really? Okay, fine, whatever. I got the scanner. I scan this thing. Then he throws $3 on the counter. So I took the $3, put it in the freaking, the tray, took his change, and threw it on the counter. He got pissed. You could pick that up and hand it to me. I said, no, you threw your money on the counter. I threw your change on the counter. I was like, I ain't scared of you. he fucking swiped the change like that off the counter. And I said, yeah, nah, for that, you can get the fuck out and don't ever come back. Hey, I tried to be nice about it, you know, but I don't like when people throw their money at me. You know, I'm 2 feet away from you. You can go like this and hand me your bills. He acted like he was a germaphobe or some shit and he couldn't touch me. Or he couldn't touch bills. I don't know what the hell his problem was. But me and him almost got into a fight over that shit. I don't care. I don't care. I was like, I'm not going to sit there and I'm not scared of you. You know, I'm not going to sit there and pick up the money and hand it to you all polite and shit. You threw your fucking bills at me. I'm going to throw your change back at you. You're lucky your change even stayed on the counter. Like, you're lucky the change even stayed on the counter. I had to tell my coworker about it when he came in. My coworker's like, good. You should have knocked him out. He can't stand like this. Okay, there's some good ones. Okay, the rest of the crew that came in were cool. There was like 8 or 9 bikers that came through at the time. One of them was a dickhead. The rest of them were cool. You know, none of them were dicks to me. They were all respectful. I even apologized a couple times to one of them for IDing him, because I have to ID, you know, like I ID everybody because it's my job. We ID. He goes, don't apologize, you're just doing your job. I said, sir, you don't understand how many people come at me sideways for doing my job. And he goes, yeah, I bet there are some dickheads out there. And I said, yeah, there are. I try to be respectful, okay? I try to be nice until they give me a reason not to be. You come up to my counter, you start acting stupid, doing stupid shit and whatever, you know, and then you throw your money onto the counter, you've crossed the line. I'm sorry. I'm going to throw your change back at you. Here you go. There's your change. It's on the counter. You can pick it up from there. You don't like it, go somewhere else. You're going to get exactly what you give. I'm like a mirror when it comes to customer service. I wasn't disrespectful to him until he disrespected me, so it is what it is. And I bet you all the other bikers that came in before and after him won't say that I was disrespectful, because I wasn't. I respect everyone until they give me a reason not to. All there is to it. And I'm not scared of people. Like, I say what I want to say. I don't back down. Like, the other day they had a cop that came into the store. You get what you give. Yes, exactly. Exactly. Golden rule. We were always taught in school the golden rule. You treat others how you want to be treated. So if you come up to me and you treat me like a dick, you're going to get treated like a dick. Just saying. But anyway, we had a cop come in the other day and he pulled up to the pump. And he had these decals that said sheriff, okay? But it said it in like off eggshell white, and his truck was white. So it was like barely visible, okay? Ghost decals is what they're called, because I Googled it. But he had ghost decals that said sheriff and whatever, his logo for his whatever sheriff's office he was for. Couldn't make it out because it was so light. And he comes in to get a receipt. And I told my coworker, the same coworker too, I told him, I said, dude, I'm about to tell this cop something about those decals. Like, that's got to be illegal. That should be anyway. And he comes in. And he goes, I need the receipt for pump whatever. And I was like, yeah, sure, Mr. Shady Shyster. He goes, what are you talking about? I said, with decals as light as that, you're up to some shady shit. I don't trust people like you. That should be illegal. Here's your receipt, Shady. Get out of here. And he got pissed. That cop was mad as shit because I called him out for having shady decals. Like, if you can't catch somebody with normal decals in your cop car, you're a shitty cop. You're a shitty cop. Shitty. Shitty. Not just shady. Like, you're just bad at your job. If you need to have, like, barely any decal on your car to catch somebody doing something illegal, then you're just a bad cop. That's all there is to it. Like, okay, for instance, from the door of the gas station to the highway, which is about maybe 50 yards, okay? I couldn't see his decals anymore. It blended in with the truck. It looked just like his truck. So from 50 yards away, it did not look like a sheriff's office vehicle anymore. From 25 feet away, you could tell it was a sheriff's office vehicle. Yeah, it should be illegal for them to do stuff like that. You should be known that you're a law enforcement officer from the get-go. If you can't catch somebody doing something illegal because they know you're a cop, then tough titty. The whole point in being a marked vehicle is so that people know that it's a fucking cop. But we also have unmarked vehicles out here, so that we got completely unmarked vehicles. There's a maroon one. No markings at all on the entire vehicle that say police or whatever. I just think those are just horrible cops, you know? They're back because they need an unmarked vehicle or a ghost marked vehicle to be able to catch people doing something wrong. If people are doing something wrong and you catch them, okay, cool beans, you do your job. But if you gotta freaking be undercover to do it, then you're just a shitty cop. Right? If you're undercover on a sting operation or whatever, then you're just a shitty cop anyway. I don't trust cops like that. I don't trust any cop for that matter, for the much. Like, for the most part, I don't trust any cop because I've met some really horrible cops along the way. One or two, maybe three in my life that I will say I met were like decent people. Maybe a fourth. Other than that, cops like to harass people. They give you a hard time for no freaking apparent reason. They just sit there and make your life a living hell for no, like, just to make their life jollier, it seems like. I don't know. They get a kick out of it. I don't know what. I honestly don't know what to say because it's ridiculous. For real, Moo, for real. Power trips. Like I said, I could probably count on one hand. On one hand. There was my dare officer back when I was in grade school. I became a junior deputy because of this cop. He was a really cool dude, and I would do ride-alongs with him in the parades and whatnot. You know, he was like a really cool individual. During my time as a junior deputy, I met another female cop. She was really awesome, you know. She was trying to show us that there were good people still out there, you know, like she would go out of her way, you know, to do the right thing. If there was a right thing in this situation, she would make sure she was doing the right thing. And she would actively try to show us, you know, like she was a good person. Like, you could tell she was a good person at heart. She wasn't like a corrupt individual, a shady person, anything like that. One of the cops that I worked with whenever I was a cop, his name was Aaron. I'm not going to say his last name because there's no point. I don't want to put him out there like that, but he looked out for me in a time where I probably should have gone to jail for being drunk and disorderly. But he was a good person too, you know, like he wasn't a crappy cop just out there to F somebody's life up. And then it's gonna sound funny the way I say this, but the cop that arrested me back in 2017, after I absconded for 2.5 years, he actually did a lot of good for me. His report paved the way for my lawyer to fight for me in court. So like, he was an awesome cop. He was literally just doing his job. He didn't fight me, or he wasn't rude to me. He picked my bong up so it wouldn't get broken when they moved my truck. He let me call my friend to come get my truck and my dog, so that neither one of my truck went to the impound. My dog didn't go to the pound, because they were taking me to jail. I wasn't coming back for months. So, like, he could have easily made me lose my dog, my house, everything. He could have impounded my truck, and I would have never got it out, because I would have never been able to afford the impound fees of 3.5 months of like $200 a day. That's impossible to ever afford. My dog would have went to a foster home or something, maybe a pound or something. I don't know if they would have like euthanized them or whatever, because he only had one eye. But this cop was really cool. He physically went inside my tiny house and picked my bong up. He's like, I have to search your house now since we have to arrest you, because he ran my name. There was a warrant for my arrest. He's like, dude, I'm sorry to have to do this to you, because we were just talking, having a chill conversation, And he's like, I'm sorry to have to tell you, but there is a warrant out for your arrest. And I was like, I figured there was. Like, I knew better. When you break the law, you did wrong. I wasn't stupid. I wasn't like, oh no, there's a warrant. Oh, 2.5 years I've been running from the cops. Come on, I knew there was a warrant. There was a warrant for my arrest day one when I took off, and I was like, I'm not going back to probation because of what she told me. Long story short, the cop wrote into my report that I was easy to get along with. I didn't fight him. I didn't like make it his job any harder, and I literally told him, so you're just doing your job, dude. I'm not gonna fight you. You do what you gotta do, man. I'm not here to make your day any harder. If I make your day harder, you're gonna make my life harder. I don't want that. You don't want that. What's the point in me getting hostile or rowdy with a cop, okay? I'm already going to jail no matter what. It doesn't matter if I fight or not. I'm going to jail, okay? If I fight, I'm going to jail with extra charges. I don't want extra charges, because that just means you're staying in jail longer. If I don't fight, I don't get any extra charges. The cop doesn't get pissed off. I go to jail in handcuffs, sure, but I'm not beat up and in pain in handcuffs. No, instead, I'm just a little uncomfortable because my hands are tied behind my back. So, me and this cop, we're cracking jokes the whole time, on the way to jail. He's laughing his ass off. And I figure I'd take the Gabriel Iglesias route. If you make a cop laugh, sometimes you can get out of trouble. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, what, let's try to make him laugh. I try to make everybody else laugh. Why not make the cop laugh too? So I'm cracking jokes the whole time, and like a funny one happened too. We were at the jail, and I'm sitting there, and he's got the cuffs in front of me now at this point, because we're not in the car anymore. And he was like, "You can relax now. We're just gonna put the cuffs in front of you." And we're sitting there, and there's a cop questioning, like a rookie cop kind of thing, questioning one of his people that he just brought in. He's doing what the cop that arrested me is doing to me. He was asking me questions, like intake questions, stuff like are you allergic to this? You ever travel out of the country? Whatever. But anyway, the rookie cop asked his person if he had ever died, ever been deceased. And I looked up, and I looked at the cop that was arresting me, and I was like, did he just ask what I think he just asked? And the cop looked at me and he goes, I think I heard the same thing you heard. And I looked at the other cop. I said, dude, if he had ever died, you would not have arrested him. Had you arrested him and he'd be dead, you'd been got a zombie right here. So I don't know if that's a possibility, sir. And like, he looked so red in the face when he realized what he asked, because I had all the other cops laughing about it. Again, I have no filter. So I say what's on my mind. That was hilarious to me. You just asked him if he was ever dead. Like, he wouldn't be here if he was dead, sir. He'd be in a different place. He'd be in the morgue. He wouldn't be sitting in handcuffs. So that all that interaction, that whole interaction went down in my favor because the cop put all of that into his report. That I was cheerful and laughing with everybody, and I made jokes, and I had everybody in a good mood, and I wasn't fighting with anybody or nothing like that. And when I went to Arizona, where I was put in jail, my actual probation officer came and talked to me. And she cleared my mind of so many misstrued ideas that I had about my probation. Because I thought I had a probation officer in Texas. I did not. She was just a babysitter. She was looking over me for my probation officer in Arizona. The only probation officer that had any control over my going to jail at any point in time was the probation officer in Arizona, not the probation officer in Texas. The probation officer in Texas can only report back to the probation officer in Arizona, and she would make her final decision. If my PO would have been like, yeah, no, I don't want you to, I think you should go to jail because of what you did, whatever, then I would have went to jail. But that's all that would have happened. The PO in Texas told me that she was personally going to throw me in jail my next time I went to probation because I failed the drug test. And I was like, if you're going to throw me in jail no matter what I do, then I'm just going to go and make you work for it. Like, I know how to run. I'm not dumb. I can take off and I can keep myself out of trouble. I'm not an idiot. I didn't go to jail because I did something stupid. I went to jail because a cop was doing his job. He was just checking on me because I was a white vehicle, a box truck vehicle parked outside of a gas station. He didn't know that I had permission from the owner of the gas station to park there. Had he known I had permission to be there, he wouldn't have even come and questioned me. Is exact words from the cop that arrested me. Because I was like, dude, I had permission to park there. He goes, well, I didn't know you had permission to park there. Had I known you had permission to be there from the owner, I wouldn't have even went and questioned you. I wouldn't have even ID'd you, so you would have still been on the run. And I laughed about that. I was like, ain't that about a bitch? All of this over a simple thing as getting ID'd. Because he didn't know that I had permission to be there. He just saw my truck there a couple nights, and he thought he was just checking up to see what I was doing there. He wanted to make sure I wasn't like some sort of predator or something. Like there was a school, I don't know, a couple blocks down the way or whatever. There was a school for like all students from grade school to whatever, because it's small towns in Colorado. And he said that he was just making sure I wasn't some sort of creep or predator out there stalking people or whatever. And I was like, no, dude, I find places that allow me to park my truck overnight, and the owner told me I could park there as long as I was out of the way. And he goes, had I known you had permission, I wouldn't have even messed with you. And I was like, it's cool, you're doing your job. It is what it is, But when I finally got to talk to my PO, she was really awesome. She was a cool lady. She was like, you should have called me. And I was like, lady, I didn't even know that you existed until now. Until now, in this very moment, I didn't even know you existed. Welcome in, Brother Adam. And she says, fair enough, fair enough. She made it seem like the PO in Texas had made it seem like she was my actual probation officer. That lady, holy cow, she takes her job way too seriously. Way too seriously, because like that was insane. She was trying to throw me under the jail because I failed the drug test. Like, big whoop. My PO was cool with marijuana. She's like, I wouldn't even cared. Like, I get it. You got in trouble for having some marijuana, but smoking it while on probation is one thing. You know, she would have probably let me get my med card had I talked to her about it. And she did. She did. On like after all was said and done, she let me get my med card. My PO was super fucking cool. All right. She said because of what the cop put in his report, how I made him laugh and how I was cracking jokes and I didn't make his job any harder. And like I went along very easy, you know, and I proved that I wasn't a bad person. I didn't get in trouble for 2.5 years. You know, she said that I proved in that 2.5 years that I was not a bad person. And because of everything the cop said about me, that she was going to fight for me. Had he said that I fought him, had I resisted arrest, had I made his job difficult or his life hard or anything otherwise, she would have gave me the worst time ever on probation. Because she could have put me on intense probation. After I absconded for 2 years, 2.5 years, she could have put me on intense, which would have been ankle monitor. You know, like, don't leave this location. Don't go out of this area for however long. You know, I got to know exactly where you are at all times, 24/7. That's what it should have been for me, okay? I had over $10,000 taken away from my debt. I had apparently $15,000 worth of debt accrued to the state of Arizona when I got arrested that I owed them, apparently. And she fought to where I had only $3,000 to pay. She got me put back on regular probation so I didn't have to wear that ankle monitor and be monitored 24/7. She let me go back to Colorado where I ended up after 2.5 years of running and stay here in Colorado because this is where I wanted to stay. I didn't want to go back to Texas because she could have made me go back to Texas where I'd started my probation. She could have made me go all the way back, but she didn't. She's like, no, I'll let you go back to Colorado. She says, but I want you to get an apartment so you can show me your, just for your probation period. After that, you can do whatever you want. I don't care. But just for the probation, get an apartment so that we have a physical location for you and you're not going to be just randomly anywhere. We need to have a set location, blah, blah, blah. Welcome in, welcome in. But it was really cool. She fought for all my charges to get dropped. The absconding charge got taken away, and the 2.5 years were stricken from the record. So it was like it would never happen. She got all my community service put into like from. I had like over 1,000 hours of community service dropped down to like 365, and then I got to do all that at one place at the homeless shelter. She let me work at the homeless shelter, and I worked in the kitchen cooking. And I only worked like 2 or 3 hours a day. But they put that I was working 15, 20 hours a day. And she took it. She's like, yeah, no, I believe it. He's in there all the time. I get it, you know. They're always prepping. They're always doing something. And I wasn't doing something almost all day long, you know. Cooking is a little bit of prep, a little bit of putting in the pot, let it do its thing. And the rest of the time you're sitting outside smoking a cigarette or whatever, you know. You could do whatever the hell you want for the rest of the time while the food's cooking. But I mean, she took all those community service hours as a one lump sum and was like, yep, you done with community service, you're good. Well, I mean, in Arizona, it was in fact a cigarette, Moo. I tried smoking cigarettes for a little while and I couldn't do it. I smoked maybe like 2 cigarettes while I was in Arizona, and I was like, yeah, no, I can't do the cigarettes no more. Everybody else was smoking cigarettes at the homeless shelter. We had to take drug tests and stuff, though, at the homeless shelter. Like, they would physically drug test us. And if we failed the drug test, we couldn't stay at the homeless shelter. So, yeah, it was actual just cigarettes. Now, I was able to take CBD gummies with permission from my PO. She was like, yes, you can take CBD gummies as long as it's just the CBD, no THC. And I was like, well, according to the package, there's no THC in these gummies. It's just CBD. And she's like, that's fine with me. Because in Arizona at the time, THC wasn't 100% legal. It was only legal for medical, and I wasn't an Arizona resident, so I couldn't get a medical license in Arizona at the time. But, long story short, she let me come back to Colorado. I got a PO here in Colorado that told me I could get my medical card if my PO said it was okay. I called my PO and asked her if it was okay, and she says, sure, I don't mind if you get your medical card. So I went and got my medical card, and I started smoking marijuana. And then probation was super easy. I went to my probation office in Colorado for the first time, completely sober, and she asked me if I could pass a drug test besides marijuana. And I was like, I could pass a drug test for everything right now. You know, if I get my medical card, then I won't be able to pass for marijuana. And she says, okay, well, I will pay for the drug test. If you go take it and pass it, things will go a lot smoother for you. I said, let's go. So I went straight to the drug testing place after her office. She paid for the drug test. I took the drug test, passed it with flying colors, or clear colors, I guess, because there was nothing in my system at all. And then after that, she's like, I appreciate you being honest with me, and I appreciate you working with me. Your PO in Arizona has been talking to me, and we think you should go in a call-in program. So you don't have to show up every month and meet with me. So we're going to put you in the call-in program. So you just have to call in once a month until the end of your probation. And then a year into my 3-year probation, they let me off for good behavior. Because I paid my fines, I did all my community service, according to the paperwork, everything was done. I only actually, if I count the hours that I did, I might have done 60 hours of community service, 2 hours a day for a month. And the only thing that I'm counting as community service hours is serving the food to the people that's twice a day, and it takes about 15 minutes of serving, so that's 30 minutes. And then about an hour and a half a day of cooking time, because you prep, takes about maybe 15, 20 minutes to prep lunch, prep dinner. So about maybe 30 minutes of prepping, and then an hour's worth of watching the pot as it in between cooking and whatnot. So I did about 60 hours in the month that I was at the place, but I got 365 hours, or 380 hours actually, because he was doing it in 20-hour increments. So I got 380 hours of community service on paperwork that I completed according to my PO and the person that I was working with in the kitchen at the homeless shelter. But cooking in the kitchen gave me a place to stay, it gave me food to eat, and it paid off my community service. But after all that, they let me go in a year. I was supposed to do 3 years of community service. She got my regular community service probation. I was supposed to do my regular 3 years. That was from the start. And my lawyer, oh my God, dude, I've never had a public defender lawyer fight so hard. It's so vicious. She was a vicious lawyer. She was awesome. Sweet old lady. Very sweet old lady. She came talk to me. Oh, she was so kind, so sweet. And she goes, just wait till we get in the courtroom, sweetheart. I got a lot to say, and things are going to go my way. I guarantee it. We got in there, and she starts listing off this demand list to the judge. And the funny thing is, the judge that I saw was the same judge that gave me my original sentence. He told me if he saw me in his courtroom again, that he was going to put me in prison no matter what anybody said. That was his exact words to me. When he gave me my original 3 years probation and everything, he sent me out to the world. I never met my probation officer in Arizona. I just went straight back to Texas. Well, he told me if he saw me in his courtroom again, he was going to throw me in prison no matter what anybody said, because he wanted to make an example out of me because I had 10 pounds of marijuana, not 15 pounds, 10 pounds. I had 10 pounds. And I was like, God dang it, we got in the courtroom and I saw it was him, and I was like, oh shit, I'm going to prison. And she starts listing off this demand of I want his regular probation back. I want the 2.5 years that he absconded, stricken from the records. I want him released from prison, from jail, today. I want him allowed to do this, blah, blah, blah. And then she started going up, I want all this money disappeared because like he only owes this much, blah blah blah. She gave off like a $3,000 number, and I was like, good God, that's like $12,000 less than he said I had to pay last time. And she looks up the judge and she goes, do we have any problems? Because if we do, I got a lot more to say. And the judge goes, no, I think we don't have any problems. We're good. And he agreed to everything she said. I got regular probation back, all that fun jazz, and let off within a year. Like, again, I only had 3 years probation, and 1 year in, I was off. By 2019, I was a free man and able to do whatever the hell I wanted. And I went in at 2017. I got arrested at the end of 2017, went to jail for like 3.5, 4 months. I got out of jail right at the beginning of like 2018. And then a year later, I was a free man. So, my actual probation officer, amazing lady, and she's not a cop, so I won't classify her in the realm of cops like we were talking about earlier. But she was an amazing lady. I can say that's one PO that I know that's freaking sweet. The lady in Denver is a second PO. Because she was just my babysitter, like she said. She even claimed, she says, I'm just a babysitter. I'm not your probation officer, so don't think of me as a probation officer. I'm just your babysitter. Your probation officer is in Arizona. I was like, I got you. But she was a really cool lady because she let me get my med card. She could have been mean and said no. She could have not put me on a call-in program and not let me go after 1 year. So, I mean, there's so many things that were there. I was lucky in so many aspects of that whole situation because it could have went so much worse for me. I could have lost everything. Instead, I gained my life back after only 1 year of dealing with the crap, you know. And it wasn't hard. If I would have done my probation in Texas, it would have been hard. I wouldn't have got help. I wouldn't have been able to do it. I wouldn't have been able to smoke. I wouldn't have been able to get a med card. You know, I wouldn't have been able to keep my box truck. I would have had to like get an apartment somewhere in Texas and pay rent and get a new job and a new place, and it'd have been crazy. And then I would have been put on an ankle monitor. That would have been even worse because, you know, as a felon, you can't really get a job as it is. If you're on an ankle monitor, people don't want you around them. They think you're a horrible person. So, my life could have been miserable for 3+ years. And knowing me, I would have fucked up, okay? I would have smoked or something. I would have broke and did something I wasn't supposed to do. I would have walked out of the area that I was in for like 2 seconds or something. And I'd have been back in jail. So, I mean, I guess it could have been way, way worse. I have to thank my good stars above that I came out the way I came out because, like I said, she could have not fought for me the way she did, but my PO was awesome. And she did. And then we're here today, okay? We're here today. I was able to go about my business. I lived in my box truck again for another year plus, almost 2 years, until I got the bus at the end of 2020. So, I mean, like, I wouldn't be here with y'all today had it gone the other way. That's a thing. There would be no Odin's Big Purple Bus. There would have never been a Big Purple Bus, but, you know, there is a Big Purple Bus now. And, okay, what's funny is when I was in jail, before I got to meet my actual probation officer, there was other inmates in there that were in jail for other harder crimes, you know, and not just 10 pounds of weed. And they were making fun of me and stuff, you know, and one of them was a Mexican cat, and he was in there for cocaine. He had the good stuff, man. He said he was in there for a lot of cocaine. But he had this little game he would play with cards, or he would predict your future, you know. And he's like, if it's this much or if it's this much, it says yes, or if it's this much, it's no. And he says, he did mine, and he goes, will there be mutta in his future? And he goes, ha, no mota in your future. It says no for mota. And then 2 months later, I had a medical card, and I was smoking like Willie Nelson and Snoop Dogg. So I think his little game was wrong. Maybe he was reading it in reverse. Because within 2 months of me being out of jail, I had a medical card, and I was snooping I was smoking like Snoop and Willie and like the big dogs again. So I wish I could go back and find that individual, which I don't know where he ended up. I don't know if he's still in jail, if he's been released, deported back to Mexico. I don't know. He was a cool cat, but when you're in jail, it's kind of hard to keep track of other people in jail, You meet a bunch of people that come and go. You're there for a little while. Some people are there for longer. Some people are there for not so long. But it'd be funny to go back and tell him, hey man, your prediction was wrong. I was smoking a lot of mota. It was crazy how that happened. So wrong. Like the opposite of no is all the mota. They let me get my medical card, and I was able to smoke more mota than I've ever smoked before. So, I mean, like, me getting my medical card opened up doors to being able to do 60 dabs in a row. Ugh. Before, I was getting maybe like 8 grams at a time. When I got my medical card, I was able to get 56 grams at a time. And my life changed. I'd call into probation, all right? I'd have the bong sitting right here. Hello, probation. Yeah. I'm just calling in. They'd be like, 1 sec. We'll get your probation officer. Like, thank you. I'd give them my name, the whole spew. And I'd be like... And then my probation officer would pick up. She goes, hey, what's up? And I'd be like, hey, what's up? I'm just calling in, checking in. I've gotten in no trouble. I am smoking, but, I got my med card, so we're cool, right? And she'd laugh every time. She'd giggle and laugh over the phone. She'd be like, you need to stop. You need to stop. Oh, but it was the funniest thing in the world to me. I was like, I'm on probation and they let me smoke. This is the only thing I do is smoke. I don't drink. I don't do drugs, I smoke mota, marijuana, that's it. So you allow me to smoke. This is going to be the easiest probation ever. It was so much fun. I would call in. I'd be so stoned. I'd be like, what's up? I want to do the what, but I didn't want to annoy her, I'd be like, what's up? Oh, she'd always be like, you need to stop. You need to stop. I was like, I can't. You gave me permission. You said that I could. You told me it was okay. And yeah, the last time I called in, it was the coolest thing in the world. Because she's like, yeah, no, I talked to your PO in Arizona, and we think that you should be let off for good behavior because you've done nothing wrong. We have you on the call-in program and blah, blah, blah. She didn't know how much I was smoking, Moo. She did not know how much I actually smoked. Neither did my PO in Arizona. Like, they didn't believe me when I told them how much I smoke, because I was smoking a lot before. Now I smoke. I mean, I don't even know how to, compare the numbers, man. My numbers have jumped from, a gram a week to 2 a day. So I'm going from 1 to 14. I smoke about 14 grams a week of Mary Jane. And I used to do about one back in the day. It's funny is I used to get my stuff off of a back when I lived in Texas, I would order it off of what was it? Instagram? I want to say it was Instagram that I was on. And I found this lady that she had pictures of brownies and cakes and stuff and little pot leaves all over the place. And I'd buy cakes and stuff from her. Right, Moo. Right. But for real though, I smoke more than a lot of, and I'm not trying to brag. I'm just putting perspective out there. I smoke a lot. Even my doctor thinks it's like he asks me all the time. He's like, "Is there any adverse effects to your the amount that you're smoking at this time?" I was like, "No, I'm perfectly fine." I'm just saying, like, I don't know very many people out there that can hang with me smoking wise. I smoke with people in real life and they get 2 or 3 dabs in and they're like, "Oh, I'm good. And I'm like, "That's it? I'm not even getting started." Yeah, I feel good. I mean, again, we did 60 the other night. On live, with the counter, so I knew exactly how many we did. It felt like a game of Duckopoly. It didn't even feel like much. I don't even know how many we do in Duckopoly, but I know we do a lot of dabs. It's like at least 20 plus. In the game of Duckopoly, we land, especially when we play with 9 players, we are landing on that blessing spot left and right. The other night, we had 7 people at one time on the blessing spot, and that was just in one go, one round. Not including how many times you and myself hit those special actions and went back to blessings. Like, so much so that I came up with a song. Come on, Blue. You're special. So, I mean, it didn't feel like anything more than a game of Duckopoly when I did 60 blessings the other day. At a certain point, it just starts to feel the same. I don't really get, like, stupid stoned. I don't get, like... I don't know. Good old special asking blessings. Well, it's better than going back to start. At least I got a blessings out of it. It does get expensive, though. I will say that, when I start doing all my blessings in one day. Luckily, I don't pay that much at the dispensary per gram, so I'm only doing about the cost of 1 gram from back in the day, Whoops, you're bad. Well, it's not really your bad, Brother Adam. You didn't have to twist my arm really to do it. It's not like you came over here to Colorado and twist my arm to do it. But I'm talking about like during the game of Duckopoly, whenever we play doing blessings, I don't mind doing the blessings. It just gets pricey after a while because it's like I'm doing 2 to 3 grams during a game of Duckopoly. When we have 9 players sometimes, it gets insane on how many blessings I do. Now, again, luckily I don't pay that much. Well, you didn't text in the chat anyway, so you're good anyway, Brother Adam. So you didn't put any unwanted messages in the chat. But no, like, luckily I don't pay that much at the dispensary per gram. So 2 a day is not that bad, pocket-wise. But it adds up over time. Because I end up doing more than just 2. When we played Duckopoly with 9 players, it did pop up on my end, so I don't see it. So maybe YouTube's looking out for you. I don't know. Welcome in, Lala Girl. When we play with like 9 players in Duckopoly, I go through about 2.5 grams just in the game alone. That's not the problem. The problem is that I go through about 2.5 grams outside of the game and outside of the live stream, because I get prepared to go live for you guys by doing a bunch of blessings. Do you understand that? When I did those 60 blessings the other day, I probably did about 30 or 40 more before going live, just to like prepare myself to do blessings. I did a bunch of blessings throughout the day while waiting to get live. I don't want to call it nervous blessings, but you know, it's like the to calm my nerves because I'm going live with you guys. I do a ton of blessings. Just like before I go live today, I did, I don't know, probably 4 or 5 blessings before I hit that live button, go live. So that's where the problem lies for me, is I end up doing so many blessings in one day that I go through like 4 or 5 grams in one day of blessings on my own. And that's where it starts adding up and adding up and adding up, and then it gets expensive and expensive and expensive. Like, I would do blessings like that every stream with you guys, okay? If I had the money to go do blessings like that every stream. The live stream before this one, Brother Adam, I tried to go live with the computer and have Risk playing behind me, and it didn't work. It had to play just, only Risk was shown. You couldn't see me. You could hear me, though, but you couldn't see me on the screen, so that didn't work. We tried to play a different game that was called Escape the Backrooms, and apparently you need other players or else you can't play. So I paid $8.99 for a game that I'm never going to get to play because I don't have any other players. So that kind of sucked. And I tried to play another game of Risk, and we put on the zombie apocalypse, you know, to let it play out, and which I've done that before. And it wasn't that bad, but man, this time they were giving the zombie 35 players to add every spin, and they give me 3. So it was like not okay. Ho ho ho. Okay. 1 second. Pulse just cleared the bank, so we got our wins from yesterday, Brother Adam, so give me 1 second. And I'll send you over. Your wins. You stinker. Hold on. I wish they wouldn't charge so much with PayPal, man. Here you go, though. It's done. You got it. Speedrun wins. But I don't have to go to town anymore because Cash App allows me to use my Cash App card to pay for a PayPal payment. So like I can send money to you by paying a smaller fee than the loading fee. If I go to town and load money, it's Wait, was it $2.50? Yeah, $2.50 more than what I just paid. If I go to town to load money, I gotta pull money out, load money onto the PayPal. If I send it from my cash card, I pay it like it's a bank account. It's like a fraction of the cost. But there you go. It's sent to you. Bada bing, bada boom. Yeah, so I was able to figure out a way to send it. Like, cool beans, you got it? Cool. I was able to figure out a way to send it cheaper, so you're getting more than you would have got if I'd have went to town. Had I gone to town, it would have been $3.95 taken out of that 50 versus, $2. So this way I get to send you more than, going to add money. It's the dumbest thing in the world. Oh, I'm not going to lie. PayPal irritates me with those fees. Real irritates me with those fees. Before, I used to pay them. And I got tired of doing that. I was like, I'm sorry, everybody, but I'm not going to pay the fees anymore. If you want something sent to PayPal, you're going to pay the fees. Because they get chippy with it. They start chipping away, Oh, you're sending to this? Oh, there's a fee. You're sending this? Oh, there's a fee. You want to add money? There's a fee. You want to pull money out the ATM? There's a fee. They love to fee you, Right, works for you. That's good to me. You're going to switch when you get around to it. I mean, it is what it is. I'm just saying, if you want to save money, I would switch. It's insane the amount of times that PayPal wants to charge you for something. Like I don't understand why. It's an electronic service. I shouldn't have to pay $3.95 to go to a store and say, hey, can I put this money onto my PayPal? You had that PayPal for many years. Well, I get it. I've had PayPal for many years too. I still have PayPal in case that's the only way someone can participate or do whatever. Because I sell funnel cakes and everything, outside of whenever I can get a chance to do that kind of stuff. So I have to make sure I have a way to collect payments if that's the only way someone can pay. But I don't have to agree with everything they charge for their services. If I'm sending money to friends and family, it should be free. It shouldn't be a fee to send money, especially if you're sending overseas. Okay, like when I send money to Brother Paulo or Brother Paulo sends money to me, we should not have to pay these exuberant amounts to send money overseas. That's ridiculous. Like, it's painful when you see the amount that you have to pay to send something overseas. I wish Cash App was just accepted everywhere. It's $1 to load money onto your card, which, I get it, okay? They're charging for a service, $1. If you charge $1 for every time somebody loads money, you're going to make a killing if you got 1 billion customers. If every one of those customers puts money on their card one time, you got $1 billion. Where's that? I don't understand the logic. You're making money. Cash App understood the logic. You just weep when you're alone. Yeah, no, I get it, Brother Adam. I get it. Cash App, went to economics class and understood basic economics, that if you don't charge an arm and a leg, you'll get more people, more customers, and in turn, you'll make more money. Because, I mean, PayPal can't be making as much as Cash App. I'm pretty sure they don't. Okay. What is PayPal's net worth versus Cash App's net worth? Yeah, they're not. Apparently, they're making PayPal makes about 36.5 billion, and Cash App makes approximately 40 billion. So Cash App makes more by charging less. That's basic economics. You get more customers. You got yourself a jumping spider friend, that's cool. I'll start the generator for the next live stream. Probably gonna go live for Play Fame tonight after this live stream. We're gonna go live around 6 p.m. Do, 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 do. It is warm in the bus today. Her name is Lmfao. Oh, you're funny, Adam. You're funny. We're gonna do another blessings. I think I gotta get another thing of blessings though. This one's out. That makes 3 for the day. Onward to 4. Getting up there. No lantern fly. That's hilarious. No fly. Ooh. Ooh, that's nice. It's a little citrusy. It's a butter. Mmm. It's nice. I always tell them when I'm at the dispensary to give me a mix so I don't get strain locked, because if I smoke the same exact thing every single time, it loses its effect. So it's really nice when I reach into my dab stocking and I pull out a different strain every single time, because I mix it all up and then I just reach in and grab one at a time, and yeah, it's nice. You know, there are times when I wish I could get more than I get when I go to the dispensary now, because I'm only allowed to get 32 grams at the moment. That's with the new current restrictions. Even as an EPC patient, I can only get 32 grams. There are places that I could apparently go to that would charge me more, and then I could get like a maybe like a half pound or something more. I don't know. But it wouldn't be much more. It wouldn't be much more. It wouldn't really be worth the price of paying. But it sucks because of how far I gotta go. I gotta drive 100 miles to get to Denver to go to the dispensary just to get dabs. So I get 32 when I go. I just get my limit. Cost me about $160. And I mean, I guess I really shouldn't complain because 32 grams for $160 is not that bad. Could be worse. You know a guy. Could be worse. I know people out there that pay way more than that. Now, if I could make that last the entire month, I'd be doing all right. But that's like every 2 weeks. It's about every 2 weeks I go to the dispensary. Yeah, brother Adam. No, thank you. Oh my God, you know how much it would cost me if I smoked? Holy smokes. Okay, look. On a slow day, I do 2. On a very slow day, I do 2 grams. That's just me dabbing throughout the day. You know, that's not really focusing on dabbing. That's just dabbing when I get the chance. Okay, throughout the day, I'll dab about 2 grams. If I'm focusing on dabbing, like the other day we did 60, that was about 3 to do about 60 blessings with my dab straw. I love this dab straw, by the way. So 3 plus an extra 2 throughout the day, so I'm doing about 5. 5 a day if I'm focusing on dabs. So if I was doing 5 for the day times 30, that'd be my limit for 2 weeks. In 1 day. So it'd be that times 14. I'd be doing $2,100 every 2 weeks. Times 2. So $4,200 a month. $4,200. $4,200 a month. If I was living where you're living for blessings. That's insane. I could not afford that. I currently do $320 a month. And that's me doing, I go through 64 blessings. That's just bare minimum 64 a month. That's two a day. A little over 2 a day, 2.13. So I don't even feel like I'm smoking a lot, okay, but I can't show this camera, but I got 1, 2, 3, 4 grams right now, 3 of which are empty, and 1 of which I just opened, and it's not gonna last the night. I feel that, Adam. I couldn't do it. I don't know. I'm glad that I get what I get. Oh, brother, it'd be way too expensive for me. I would need a job better than yours to be able to afford to smoke even. Just smoke. Not eating, not rent, not anything else. Just smoking. I don't think I could do it. I could not do it. That's one of the reasons why I don't move to another state. Because of how cheap I can get my blessings for here in Colorado. I want to visit, you know. We don't have to go to the ATM. That's funny. I would like to visit other states and keep a home base here in Colorado because of the fact that I can get marijuana for so cheap here. Because I can't afford to pay other state prices. I just can't do it. I smoke way too much to be able to afford other state prices. And they would not like me in other states because I'd be like, no, I need it for 5 a G. 5, not 30, so knock 25 off. And then I'll buy more from you. But I can't buy it at 30 a G. Welcome in, Zoe. Washington is hella cheap. I mean, like I said, I pay about 5 a G. I get 64 a month, and I do about $340 a month. Or no, 360 or some shit. 320. He can't put me in jail for weed, sir. Well, you robbed the ATM, son, to get it. Well, yeah, it's expensive, man. Can you afford weed? Welcome in. 2020. Man, there's no such thing as a 2020 anymore. They don't do 20 bags. But no, I do like paying about $5 a gram for blessings. With the amount that I smoke, it's damn near necessary. If I had to pay any more, I wouldn't be able to smoke as much, and I would not be a very nice person. I would probably be a mean camper. Not a happy camper when I can't do my blessings. Staying out of the drama. Yeah, I try to stay out of the drama too. There's a lot of drama going on at work right now, and I'm just keeping my head out of it. Like, doesn't involve me. I don't care. Y'all do you. But yeah, no. Like I said, I'm working on my 4th gram today alone. So that's going to make $20 today for blessings. Never ever get it. Yeah, for real. If it doesn't involve me, I'm not in it. If it involves me, I can't help it. I'm sorry. But, you know, if it's not, if I can avoid it, I'm not getting in work drama. I do not like being part of it. I don't want to be, don't put my name in your mouth, you know. Leave me out of it. I show up, I do my job, that's it. I go home. I need to clean my dab rig. This thing, again, is clogged. I'm just going to show the straw part of it. This is just the straw. Look how clogged that is. I got to clean that. That is extremely clogged. Holy cow. We're doing the blessings first, though. Turn the air conditioner on. Your name's Bennett and you're not in it. I get that. I get that. Usually my name's Stola and I'm the one who told you. Oh, hope I get this clean by 420. Sheesh. Bibble. Ooh, nice. I like some Granddaddy Perp. Traditional, original Granddaddy Perp was one of my favorite strains. When I first smoked it, it was black velvet purple. Like, I mean dark purple. I think it's about time I replaced that freaking power inverter right there. It's getting pretty worn out, I guess. It has to turn this little internal fan on multiple times now because of it's too weak. Yeah, that's still fault. Alright, we're gonna put that over here in front of the fan. Right, go tell somebody that matters. For real. For real, dude. We're in a group chat at work, okay, for the gas station. And everybody's in the group chat, so you get the message of the schedule when the schedule comes out. Well, the schedule came out and a certain person got cut and they got pissed about it. And they start wanting the owner's numbers and whatnot. I'm like, I'm just a new guy, so I'm staying out of this. You know, I have no control over that schedule. I have no control of who gets what days. And I'm not giving out the owner's number. I don't have the number for the owners anyway, so, you know, I'm not going to sit there and pretend like I do and give it out to somebody, you know. But they're super mad about having their hours cut or something, and I'm like, I don't know, dude. I'm just staying out of it. Keeping my nose clean. I'm going to show up and work my job, because I'm working 40 hours a week right now, and I like having 40 hours a week. It's quite nice. It's quite nice. Guaranteed money versus don't know if I'm going to make anything with DoorDash. So, I mean, I'm going to keep my nose out of it and not try to make waves because I don't want to get told that I need to go places. Alright, we're going to try to get this dab rig cleaned real quick. In time for 420. Keeping my nose out of it. I'm like, I'd just rather just do my job and show up, do my job, go home, collect the paycheck. I'm not trying to rag on anybody, but you know, the person complaining about not having enough hours or whatever can't show up on time to save their life. And has called in a couple times for other things or whatever. I don't know. So I don't know what the whole story is, but I know as a person waiting on them to relieve me, that was hot. That was really hot and dumb. Okay. Well, I just poured hot dab all over my hand. Like, that was dumb and hot and burned like hell. I'm good, though. Good now. Good now. It's okay. Yeah. If I didn't have that place, it'd be dash time. And then I would have to be sitting there dashing my ass off to barely make anything. And I would not be making rent because you end up with about $10-15 after the day's over. And that doesn't pay anything. That was extremely hot reclaim that just dripped onto my hand, you guys. Like, I don't know if candle wax might be the right term for the heat. But that's kind of what it feels like, I guess, candle wax. Like, have you ever been burned by a candle? Oh, it's sticky already. It's sticky already. I'm just trying to cool off the top handle so I can grab it and clean out the bottom. I was not expecting it to drip out onto my hand like that. It was clogged. So I thought it was going to stay clogged until I unclogged it, but no. Only your nipple. Oh, you're funny, Adam. You're funny. Okay, I could hold on to that. Ugh. That just really sucked, though. Like, that really did hurt a lot. It burned really bad. And now it's disgustingly sticky. Look, it's still runny. That's how hot it was. It's still runny. Ugh. Yeah. I turned into a bad Arnold. Yeah, get off my hand, you. Could hand you something real quick. Get off! Ah, damn you! Put it on the shorts. Ow. Fuck that hurt. Ow. Got most of it. I got most of it off. We're good though. We're good. It's still sticky. Still super sticky. It's twice today that I got burned by blessings. Once from Kush jumping in my lap right as I was doing a blessings. And I had to like move my dab rig so that it didn't burn him because he doesn't care. He got right up in my face, and as I tilted my head back so he didn't get burned, it dripped out right over my fucking thumb. Burned the crap out of my left thumb. That was pleasant, I guess. Not really. Now that most of it's already been dripped out all over my hand, let's get the rest of it in a container. I don't know if that goes to attest anything to my pain tolerance, but I know a lot of people that would have been freaked out about that and wanted to go to a hospital claiming second or third degree burns. That was pretty hot. I clean my dab rig with fire so it gets hot. Hot. And usually the glass is glowing. I have to do it in sections because it gets super hot on one side and I can't hold it. And I gotta cool it off. Alright, clean dab rig just before 420. Alright. Well, I'm glad you said she was mad. I thought, man, holy cow. Brother, my brain, when you said project manager, went to some dude with a clipboard, you know, like standing up. So I thought about some dude standing there in high heels with a clipboard going, click, click, click. Come on, let's go. That's funny, though. That is funny. Alright, gonna get some water before 420. Got 1 minute till 419. Do pre-420 blessings. Ah. 419. Let's go. Alright, pre-420 blessings coming in. Well, I mean, it's funny, okay, we can laugh about it, Adam, yes, ha ha ha, but you're not joking. I've been on those sites. I've had things fall on my feet. If it was not for steel-toed boots, I wouldn't have toes. You know what I'm saying? I've been on some of those job sites. This stuff's not light, okay? Let's say a wrench falls from on top of the ATM to your toe on an open face, freaking high heel shoe, or not even open face, just a high heel shoe with a closed face. Happy 420 from Colorado. You're still gonna gash the shit out of your toe, probably to the bone, because those freaking wrenches are not light. For real though, Adam, it's 100% safety. Same thing with hard hats. I've been hit by stuff falling from above head, and if it wasn't for the hard hat, boy, I'd have been in a bad situation. So, like, I mean, sure, people might get mad at it, but as someone who's worked in the oil field, you do not want to be on sites that use heavy machinery, tools, anything overhead, because you don't know what's falling, you don't know what's happening. And I've had my feet almost smashed before. I've had my head hit before by falling lug nuts, bolts, freaking wrenches, stuff that's just falling from above you. You know, you're working on a boat and the wave hit, you know, and then something that was on the floor is now in your head. It wasn't nobody's fault, you know, nobody threw it at me, they weren't cutting it off and I wasn't paying attention. You catch a 10-foot wave, you know, it's throwing things around the boat. Things happen. I've also had my foot run over. That wasn't pleasant. Luckily, again, I had steel-toe boots, and it wasn't as bad as it could have been. My feet just hurt a little. But I've had a forklift from the front of my foot. The front part of the forklift, not the back part, the front part. Doesn't really make it any better, but the back part's where all the weight's at. So I probably would have lost my foot had a back part rolled over me. I don't blame you, Brother Adam. I don't blame you. If somebody comes onto my job site and they're violating safety protocols, I will take whatever call I have to. Because I'd rather take that call versus having to take them to the hospital. Because you know it's going to happen. Inevitably, it's going to happen. If you walk onto a job site like that that requires steel-toe boots and a hard hat and all this other safety features, and you try to violate the safety protocol by wearing something like high heels or in like non-face open-toed shoes, non-steel-toe shoes, even tennis shoes with no steel-toe, you know, you try to violate that protocol, inevitably something is going to challenge your steel-toe shoes. There's a reason why they require us to wear these safety features to work at these jobs. Exactly. You're working on a 3,000-pound machine. Oh my God, Blue. You're okay. In the places that I'm talking about, like the oil field and the working on the boats and stuff like that, you know, it's not necessarily that you're working with super heavy machines. I mean, there are super heavy machines. There's cranes and forklifts and a bunch of other things. There's 300-pound dumbbells that we call freaking 150-ton shackles. And I mean, there's a lot of things that are super heavy. Okay, they're not 3,000 pounds, But if it falls on your foot, you're not going to have a good day if you're wearing the wrong freaking shoes. If it hits you in the head, a wrench, okay, a freaking monkey wrench, or a pipe wrench, for anybody out there that doesn't know the slang term for a pipe wrench. A pipe wrench, you know, just a basic one, one of the small ones, okay, weighs like 6 pounds. One of those tiny pipe wrenches weighs like 6 pounds. If that falls from 25 feet up, from like a balcony or something where they're working, and it clocks you in the top of your head, that is not going to feel like, you know, it's going to be a lot of paperwork. Dangerous work, kind of why you like it. No, I get that. Trust me. I've worked in the dangerous fields before, the oil field and working offshore, and I've had things, like I said, fly off the top rail and clop me in the head. You know, luckily I was wearing a hard hat. You get a 120-ton shackle, or 150-ton shackle, whatever I don't know if this is 120-ton or 150-ton. Doesn't matter. They're big. They're giant shackles. The bolt that goes through that shackle is this big around, about 1.5 feet long. It's got a hex on the end of it, you know, that weighs another freaking, I don't know, they weigh probably 13, 14 pounds. Just the bolt. That comes flying off the top, you know, and hits you in the head. It's not going to feel like you can keep working. Keeps you sharp. Yeah. You're not going to want to keep working after getting hit by a shackle bolt, or just a nut. The little nut that goes in the end of that shackle bolt is about that big, okay? That shackle bolt nut weighs probably 7 pounds. Easily. It's just pure iron. Just a giant nut of iron. And those things, I got hit by one of those one time, and it hit my hard hat first, and then it hit me in the shoulder. And let me tell you, when it hit me in the shoulder, that felt like somebody would have cracked a 2x4 over my shoulder. And it bounced off the hard hat, you know? And it was just a nut of one of those big shackles. The way it caught us, the nut flew off the top of the rail. The rail was maybe 10 feet above me, you know? It wasn't like super, super high above me. But it was like an 8-pound nut. It plop, pow, and it freaking hurt so bad. Oh, luckily I'm fat, you know, so there was a lot of cushion to hit before the bone. And when it happened, I was like, I don't know, 18, 19, so I was young and resilient. I laughed it off. But like I said, I had the hard hat. If I wouldn't have had that hard hat on, boy, I would have had a busted open head, guaranteed. That hit perfect, right? It would hit right here. That would have split my head open like nobody's business. I've been in situations in those fields where, you know, you think the safety protocols are put there just to fuck with you, but they're there for a reason. I've experienced a couple of times where I realized why we have safety gear, steel-toed boots, freaking hard hats, safety glasses, respirators, and whatnot, you know. There's a reason why they make you wear certain things and to do certain things. Gloves. Had it not been for gloves, I don't think I would have a couple fingers, okay? I've had gloves get caught in machinery a few times, and the machine took the glove versus my finger. So I'm very grateful to still have all 10 of my fingers, you know? I have a lot of family members out there that don't have all 10 of their fingers, and they can't say the same. My cousin, God rest his soul, my uncle, God rest his soul, they both few fingers missing on each hand. Life gets difficult when you don't have all your digits and stuff, you know. So I'm grateful to still have all my stuff. I know I'm not that old, but at the same time, I'm not that young either. I know a lot of people. Welcome in, Rick. I know a lot of people that in my family, in my life, were young men in their 20s, early 20s. My cousin was in his early 20s when he shot off his finger with a shotgun, of all things. It's crazy. Oh yeah, I know you can get hurt real quick. I've gotten hurt real quick, brother. It only takes a second when it's an accident. Things happen. There's nothing you can do, like it's a split second and it happened. I've fallen off of a loading dock before because ice was on the loading dock and I didn't see it, like, the black ice. There was a sheet, just a little, I don't know, about maybe 6-7 inch sheet where the truck wasn't all the way against the dock, and the snow was hitting and it was melting and then refreezing right on that one little spot. I go to get onto the back of the truck to load some stuff, or not load some stuff, pull some stuff off. We were backing up to the warehouse with a bunch of material that we got from the offices, and I went on there and freaking hit that patch of black ice. One leg went like this, the other leg stayed the same, and I went in the split mode almost. Fell between the loading dock and the truck, split my leg open. That sucked. Because the truck, like right where my, I think I got a scar on my leg somewhere. Right up my freaking calf. I can't see. Which one is it? No, I'm lying. I don't have a scar. I thought I had a scar. No scar. But it went right down my shin, right here. I can still feel it. It's kind of a scar. Not really. Anyway, the front of my shin had about a 3-4 inch gash in it from the lift gate. Yeah, no, I remember that, Brother Adam. I still feel for you in that one. That sucks. But not the lift gate, the truck caught me. I read your comment, lift gate. That little plate on the truck that goes between the truck and the loading dock. It was about maybe 7 inches or so, like that, between the truck and the loading dock. And we had a ramp in between the two to go in between the truck and the loading dock so we can get in there. And there was a little plate on the truck that my leg scraped all the way down that plate. And I got about a 4 inch plate. Yeah, dock plate. Yeah. The dock plate on the truck got my leg like a mofo. And I didn't want my boss to know, so I just hurried up and I wrapped it up real quick and got back in the truck and went to work. But yeah, no, like I remember doing that. That sucks. It happened so fast. I didn't see the little patch of black ice, and it sent my leg flying out from underneath me. And then I went just far enough to go past the freaking ramp. So I didn't hit the ramp. I went right on the side of the ramp and hit the lift plate, the dock plate on the truck. And I was not a happy camper the rest of the day. My leg hurt so bad. I've also had my door when I built a little pop-up camper to live out of in Texas, and I had the door to it that was made out of aluminum tubing and then flat sheet aluminum, which is extremely sharp if you don't do it properly. And I did not do it properly. I didn't wrap the aluminum. I was trying to get a door on there real quick. So I slapped some sheet aluminum up on the square tubing and riveted it on. I riveted my door together with aluminum tubing and sheet aluminum, and then I was getting into my tiny house, and the wind slammed the door into the back of my ankle right there, and I kind of tore through my Achilles tendon with the door. It sucked. It happened, I mean, that fast. That one really sucked. I've also put a wood, this one you can actually see the scar. There's a scar that goes right across my thumb. There was a wood chisel that I went to the bone of my thumb right there. Oh, I've had that happen to me before, brother. I know that pain. That sucks. You didn't give it enough angle and it came back to give you the dangle. Oh. I've unfortunately messed my cousin's work truck up with a 6x6 because I was convinced that I could lift it up on my own. And I was lifting it up and it slipped and I grabbed it and I wasn't able to hold it from hitting the truck. And it hit and left a corner ding about the size of the 6x6 just sitting there in the truck. So he had a little holder for the 6x6 then on out. It was not that funny at the time, but we laughed a lot about it afterwards. Right, Rick? I'm the same way. I'm the same way. I have a bunch of coins, you know, but I started using just my own coin because this is my channel, you know. Like I do use other people's coins sometimes, and I shout them out when I use them. But I don't. I quit collecting every coin because there are so many scratch channels out there, and I don't follow every scratch channel. I'm sorry. I'm not gonna say that I sit there and subscribe to every single channel because I don't. If I don't like vibe with them, then I don't follow them. I'm sorry. I do follow back a lot of my subscribers. There's a lot of my subs in here that I follow them back. You know, I know when they go live and stuff like that, and if I see them live and I'm not busy, I do show up. But a lot of times I'm busy. I do work a 40-hour week work schedule, you know, like, and I'm only off 2 days a week. I go live with these most of those times. And then I barely take time off. YouTube is kind of like a second job for me. So I don't really have much time to go out and join other people's live streams and stuff. A lot of people are live when I'm at work or if I'm sleeping. I'll wake up and I'll see a notification. So-and-so went live 4 hours ago. And I start thinking about it like I just woke up. 4 hours ago, I was tossing and turning and chasing a Mary Jane plant, you know? In my dreams, I'm always chasing some kind of plant. I don't know. It's weird. But, like, whenever I get the notifications, I'm away in dreamland, sleeping most of the time, or I'm at work. That's the problem. I'm sleeping. I know, right? The only time I get to sleep, and it's this problem. I don't know. There's a lot of drama in the community too, though, that I try to avoid. So there are channels out there that I do avoid at all costs because there are just drama. That is what those channels are for. That's all I've ever seen them do is create drama. They cause drama. They constantly make you wish you didn't associate with that channel. So I just quit associating with those channels. I'm not going to give them any shout outs. I'm not going to name their names. If you follow them, you know. If you don't, then I hope you never do, because you don't want to. I feel that. I feel that, Adam. I don't like the drama. I don't like the drama. But we've had people. You know which people I'm talking about. Okay, you've been around long enough. You've seen it. We've had people that tried to make drama into the channel, and I was like, no, I'm good. I'm good. You can go. You can go. I don't need you here anymore. Like, I get it, you know. I appreciate the support of some people when they come in and they send me money to play tickets and whatnot, you know, and I'm not trying to rag on them. But at a certain point it went from support to demand. They weren't supporting my channel anymore versus trying to run every aspect of my life. I wasn't working at the time. And then it got to the point where they were trying to control me. And I was like, look, I will go when I can. I'm not going to just go right now because you say to jump. And then that started an issue. And then blah, 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 blah. And, ugh. So, like, I mean, I'm not... I appreciate when people support the channel and stuff, but I'm not going to sit here just because you support the channel a ton doesn't mean I'm going to sit there and bend over backwards for said people, you know, like, and I'm not talking about anybody in particular right now. I mean, I actually am, but, you know, she doesn't support the channel anymore. She's just no longer here. They're long gone. But I'm just, like, talking for future in reference to anybody else out there, you know, like, just because somebody supports my channel a bunch doesn't make them the authority of my channel, if you will, you know? Because that's how it kind of felt with that person. They would sit there and try to, I mean, they would sit there and be like, oh, you need to do this now. You need to go to the store now and get me tickets now. I'm not waiting. I want it now. And I'm like, I'm not going now. You know, I'm hungry. I'm tired. I want to take a break. I've been live for 4.5 hours. Going live for a long period of time, I mean, it doesn't seem like a lot, but it does take a lot out of you. You know, it takes energy, it takes, like, emotion and stuff like that, so... Hello, a jug and a scratcher. Okay. I mean, I'd rather take the car, Brother Adam. But if you want me to run, I guess I'll run. I'll have to lose weight. I'm not going to make it all the way to Loaf. But yeah, no, like, I mean, we've gotten so much better on the channel about that stuff. You know, we've laid down rules to prevent that kind of stuff from happening again. But I mean, it's just it got to the point with that particular person in the past that they were trying to control every aspect of the channel. Like, they owned my channel. Go now. Gas not cheap. Hoof it. No, you ain't lying about that. You're not lying about that. Gas wasn't really cheap then either, and I didn't have a job. And they weren't paying for my gas. They weren't paying for my time. They were only paying for tickets. And if we won on the tickets, it only got to go back onto tickets. I wasn't able to profit anything off of that. We weren't splitting the profits. You know, it was just, you work for me, and you don't get jack. Just go to the store, get me tickets when I want tickets. And it got really bad at one point. I was like, you know, I'm not your slave. I'm not your dog. I'm not going to jump when you say jump. I will go when I get a chance. You know, I appreciate you supporting the channel. You're allowing me to make content by sending me money to get tickets. That's cool. That's awesome. You know, I'm glad we get to make a bunch of content. You know, but I can't sit here and be okay with somebody, you know, trying to control my every move and tell me when to go to this, like, tell me when to go do what they do it now. I don't want to wait. Do it now. Somebody's going to get the next ticket. Okay, somebody might have got the next ticket already. You know, the minute I walked out the store, somebody might have got the next ticket. I'm not standing in the store policing all the tickets. You know, like, they got mad because I wasn't moving fast enough because somebody might have got the next ticket that they wanted to get. And you don't know if the ticket's there or not. The ticket might be there when you go back. The ticket might not be. You want every ticket in the pack, you got to buy the whole book. And from my experience, buying the whole book sucks. Okay? There are way more losers in that book than there are winners. But I'm not going to jump just because you want the very next ticket. I mean, somebody might have already got that ticket the minute I walked out of that door. It could be 2 minutes later. It might be gone. Oh yeah, you buy way more losers than wins in a book. We've proven that on this channel. I bought plenty of books. They know me at the store because of how many books I have bought. They have opened the safe and my name has been on the book. Do not touch. So, we've bought plenty of books on this channel and it's just, they don't pay out. They're not fun. I quit doing full book Fridays because of that. For one, I didn't have a job that could pay for a full book every freaking Friday. Or even one for the month for that matter, because it's $200+ for a full book. And nobody wants to see you scratch $2 tickets. Everybody only wants to see big tickets, $5, $10, $20. A $20 book here in Colorado is $600. I can't afford that. Better off scrambling for Pokemon cards. Yeah, no, for real. For real. It was definitely not profitable. I was spending anywhere from $300 to $600 in the month. Some months I was spending more than that. Like I spent $900 one month on a $300 book and a $600 $20 book. We did the $20 version and we did the $5 version of the same tickets, and they both sucked. I got back like $120, I think, on the $600 book, and I got back like $140 or $50 on the $300 book. Not even half, you know. I don't get the Pokemon craze either, Brother Adam. I guess I'm too old too. I don't know. I was around when the Pokemon cards first came out. And they weren't that cool when they first came out. I collected some of them. I played the Pokemon games, you know, but I never understood the idea of a Pokemon card being worth more than anything but 10 cents. A book was like $2. You get the whole like pack for like $2 when I was a kid. And they were like 12 cents a card, I think, out of the pack. You get like 8 cards in the pack. Some crap like that. I don't remember. It wasn't like that expensive, but like apparently people are paying thousands upon thousands of dollars for one card, or $200,000 for a box of original OG cards, and I'm like, they're not worth anything. That doesn't make sense to me. I believe that, Brother Adam. I threw away a bunch of first-gen cards that it wasn't even funny. Hell, I had Pogs, too. For a while, Pogs were making a comeback, and then they stopped. And I think the new thing is La Boo Boo now, is the new freaking Beanie Baby of 2026. McDonald's is going to be the next one. They're going to make a ton of La Boo Boo dolls and flood the market, just like they did with the Beanie Babies. And they're not going to be worth anything because they weren't worth anything to begin with. But that's the society we live in. We're turning into idiocracy. Even Trump is now putting on a battle arena on his front lawn of the White House. So we're looking more and more like President Camacho. You know. Idiocracy is becoming more of a prophecy than a freaking movie. We're coming to fruition like it's nobody's business, you know. I see dumb people every day. Can't work a gas pump. Can't read a sign that says next door. Use this door with an arrow. Big old arrow that points, right here to the door right next to it. Literally 3 inches away from the arrow pointing, use other door. And they're like, oh, is it over here? And they walk around to the other end of the aisle. I'm like, dude, the arrow's pointing to the door. You walked in through this door. How can you not walk out through the said door? Or the gas pumps, for that matter. There's pictures on the pump. You lift the nozzle on the pump handle. There's a picture that says lift handle to start pump. It's too difficult. They can't understand that. Lifting the handle is too much. These pumps have been around since the 80s. I remember these pumps when I was a kid. This is how you started the pump. You lift the handle. After you pull the pump, when you want to stop, you put the pump back in, and it sits on the handle and it closes down to make the handle stop. It stops the pump from working. Maybe I handle dabs better than my customers. I mean, it can't just be dabs, brother. There's a lot of children that are dumb too in this world. It's a lot of the kids that look at the sign. They try to push on the door that's locked. It's a locked door. You can't get through it. Sign says clearly, use other door with an arrow that points to the door 3 inches away from it. And they'll sit there and push on the door. And then they'll look at me like, how do I get out of here? And I'm like, the other door. I don't know. I feel like I'm just ranting now. Well, that's where you're wrong, Brother Dustin. That's my entertainment? Yeah, no. That's me worrying about the world that we're living in because our next generation of children that are supposed to grow up and be the next generation can't understand a sign that says use next door, use other door with an arrow. They don't understand pictures. The ancient Egyptians understood pictures. But you were wrong about that, though, Brother Dustin. The dabs can, in fact, talk back to you. Walk around the store counterclockwise to unwind the door, yeah. You can only go through the door backwards. You can't go through forwards. Sometimes you gotta go through sideways. Alright. I gotta get ready for my next stream, so I'm gonna have to talk to you guys later. It's gonna take me a little while to get ready. I gotta go walk Blue, and then I gotta start the generator, and then I gotta get stuff done. Welcome back, Mo. I am gonna go live at 6 p.m. tonight. In an hour and like 8 minutes maybe to go live on PlayFame. We're going to play a little bit of online social casino and have some fun, do a little giveaways. And then we'll go live again afterwards to just hang out and chill, whatever. I don't care. We might try a little Pulse since Pulse paid us. So I don't know. I'll think about it. I haven't thought about it yet, but I'll think about it. But I'm going to go start the generator, get the air conditioner on, get the internet back up and running. It's going to take a few minutes for that to restart. And then I'll set up the live stream and get everything ready to go, put the green screen up, and then we'll go live, do our little PlayFame thing, and then come back afterwards for another chill sesh. Just say thank you and just hang out. Oh, excuse me. Hope you have a blessed one, and I'll see you in a little bit.